everybody, my name is Tinukin and we are back on the ZAWA Together server where we are currently trying to build a really amazing zoo. And today it is finally time to make the capybara exhibit. I have done some detailing and decorating up here on this little plateau, and it also means that this snail unfortunately has to go. I have found out that it was Mad Bulldog who made it. You may remember Mad Bulldog from the Jeopardy episode. He was the one who organized it. So thanks very much, Mad Bulldog. I really enjoyed this prank. And I'm really sad to see it go, but unfortunately I will need the space. Okay, so now that that's taken down, let's talk about the capybara habitat that I'm planning. So you know that I have, or want to have, like lots of water in my zoo. For example, I have this little river over there. I have something down here. And I now built this little tunnel so that the stairs that lead up here can go over it. And my plan for the capybara enclosure is to feed right into that. So the thing here is supposed to be a waterfall that leads down into that little pond. And I have the same over here. There's another waterfall that I have planned, which does not have a pond yet down there, but yeah, I'm gonna work on that later. And those two waterfalls are going to be fed by another pond that is up here within the capybara habitat. So now I just need to figure out how exactly to do that, because I need to make sure that the capybaras can't get out and that I don't accidentally build something where they could get out. And this is why I have lowered this a little bit, and I hope that that way this is actually going to work out. By having the enclosure similar to how we did the rabbits and the guinea pigs, just lowered a little bit into the ground. And then I'm going to use some waterlogged fences within the river so that the capybaras can't just swim out here and down the waterfall and do whatever they want. So here's where we come up the stairs, and then I have laid out where the path is going to go. But out of that area over there is going to have space for the capybara enclosure. And so I think the best thing for me to do first is to take some of those dacite bricks and just lay out where exactly the edges of the enclosure are going to be. All right, this is a nice big area. Now let's see where we want those rivers and that lake to go. So actually, this is a little bit too high up. I think this should be on that layer, but let me count. So we're going to have the water here, which means the water is going to go up to here. And then we still have 2 blocks until we reach the edge of the enclosure. Yes, that is exactly what I was going for. It looks kind of creepy down there. Ignore that. I did some of the terraforming on that side, so that results in this big, dark, cavernous space down there, which is not very nice to look at. So I guess it would be nice if the river curves a little bit and doesn't just go straight completely. And same for that one over here. Well, here we have a fairly straight bit, although, I mean, I could just let it go like this and just move this over 1 block. This gap that the river is going to go through. Yeah, why not? So now let's curve this back again a little bit, and then of course we need the pond in the middle. This may not actually be the best way to do this layout. Maybe I should have done the bottom layer first, but I'm just gonna soldier on with this and do it this way and try to basically build an exact copy of what I just dug out 2 blocks below. Yeah, you know what? Since I'm kind of bumping my head here on the sides, this actually works better than expected. Yeah, that's not too bad, I think. So now I basically need to remove the oak mulch here and add it down here instead. So just like take all of this away and put it here. And so this is where we are going to put the ground on. So basically we're going to have this here, and then there's going to be water here on the dark oak mulch. And I don't want the water to be deeper than 1 block. I know the capybaras don't drown. I tested that in Toucan Bay, and we know that they are capable of swimming pretty well. But still, I think, like, personally, they enjoy the flat water more. Okay, this is nice, and I'm excited because this is going to be the first water feature that we have in an animal exhibit. And I can't wait to decorate it. I've got some really nice water plants, some really nice swampy looking plants. But now let's think about the ground cover in here. First off, the edges of the pond. So in other places in the zoo, I have been using the overgrown stone and the mossy stones and that kind of stuff for the edges of the water features because I'm going for that rocky look, but I don't think that this really fits in here. Maybe like 1 or 2 of those, but mostly I think it's going to be swampy, which means lots of dirt, maybe some grass, of course, but also I think just plain coarse dirt, maybe some peat and that kind of stuff. I don't know, does puzzle work with like a swampy block palette? I'm not quite sure. Maybe I will stick with these ones. Oh, I may also have some meadow dirt with grass on top. That could also look quite well. So the meadow dirt has the same color as the peat, which makes it look a little bit wetter. But I don't know, I do like the warmer colors of that dirt for this. So yeah, let's just stick with these 3 blocks. I think that's plenty. Yeah, that's lovely. So I tried to make the edge of the water quite muddy and less muddy the further away we get from the water. But for a final touch, let's add some path blocks in here. Oh yeah, that looks amazing. There's just the tiny bit of 3-dimensionality that the path blocks add just helps so much, I feel. I wish we had more types of blocks that did something like that. That would really open up so many opportunities. Okay, perfect. So now just before I forget it, I'm going to need to add some lighting in here. Well, but not next to the path blocks. All right. On the corner of a path block. That works. I would say this is going really well so far. I really am quite happy with this. So, as always, I've got this fence on top of here, but I've also got it down here. I am pretty sure we can waterlog it, and so we can prevent the capybaras from getting out this way. Let's test this. Oh yes, very good. And we've got the waterfall. Nice. I think I should extend this that way. Yeah, that looks like it makes sense. Now we do the same thing over here. And fill it with water. And we've got the second waterfall. And splish, and splash, and splish, splash. Come on. A few more over here. And we've got a wonderful pond. And so this pond has those 2 exits where the water goes through a grate and then flows into the rest of the zoo. Perfect, this is just like I wanted it. So this makes it so that all the water stuff is not just like a feature of the terrain, but also of the zoo itself. And I really love that. That really just ties it all together, I guess. So how about the greenery in here? Well, let's do a bit of a show and tell. And by show and tell, I mean fly over and look at this biome that I have directly next to me. Because I think this is just perfect. Like, the stuff we have here, we have this water grass, which is not just like in the water, like that kind of seagrass, but it sticks out. We've got the reeds. And of course we have the cattails, and I think all 3 of those are going to be perfect to give some swampy vibes to our capybara pond. So I'm just gonna take some of that stuff with me. Okay, so I've got reed and I've got reeds, and I have no idea what the difference is. Let's see if we can manage to place that stuff, because I vaguely remember some of that stuff being kind of problematic. Well, that worked. Okay. Now the cattails, I think we don't have to put them in the water, right? Okay, but we can only place them on grass. And only if it is directly adjacent to water, and we don't have a lot of those. Maybe here on that end, yeah, maybe that even kind of makes sense. Okay, I just remembered to place just a couple of sea pickles down there. Just for a little bit of light. But I think that's enough, and now I'm just gonna go ham with the watergrass. That stuff goes everywhere. Actually, maybe instead of distributing it everywhere, maybe I should just put it to one side and make one side of the pond really overgrown and the other one not so much. I think that would look better, actually. So let's remove that from over here again. Some of the reeds as well. What does that look like? Yeah, I like it, but I want to add just one or two back, and yeah, that's really good. So now we can add a little bit of the less tall stuff. For example, the Java moss over on this side, just to cover the ground a little bit. Yeah, that's such a nice mix of water plants. Really good. Should I add some floating water plants? I think I'm going to go without. I think this already looks pretty great. And we don't need anything more in the water here. Now, what kind of color flower should we go with? I'm kind of thinking orange. So I found these orange cosmos actually pretty near to where I found two of the capybaras, but they are fairly big. But I still think, I mean, it's a big exhibit. It could work. Let's test it out. And then I want some of those fancy grasses. I think the Johnson grass, definitely. And then, what about those two? Let's test it out. I definitely want a kind of tall grass savanna feel for the parts of the exhibits that are not water. So yeah, let's just try it. Oh, you know what? I completely forgot about trees. Do we think we will need any trees in here? Some shade for the capybaras would definitely be good, right? Okay, let's try a mahogany tree, because I also found that near where I found the capybaras. And I feel like maybe I've been lying to myself about the trees needing so much grass surrounding them, because I feel like even after I remove all that stuff, they just keep growing. I mean, look at what kind of a thick trunk that thing has. Nobody clip that, please. Let's just spray it with some bone meal and see if it works. Such a silly looking tree when it's in that stage, but yeah, it gets better. Yeah, look at that. Look at this. I would say that's pretty good. Maybe we can even do a second one. Yeah, look at this. I'm happy with that. I like that. But now let's talk grasses. So, Johnson grass. This one's a definite yes. It fits so well with the cattails and the reeds. That is just lovely. But the other two have a fairly yellow tone to them, which I think may be too much. Yeah, I think the barley is definitely too much. But yeah, the prairie grass actually kind of works for me. I think we can use a little bit of that. So how about a patch of... I really should texture this boulder a little bit more. Maybe even make some kind of a cave here. So yeah, I was gonna say, let's put a denser patch of the taller grass, of the Johnson grass back here. But I guess let's do this first. Similar to what we did for the guinea pigs. You know what? I actually don't think capybaras live in caves, but I'm sure they'll appreciate a roof over their head. Now back to the grasses. I was saying something about an area with tall grasses over here, and now of course I don't want to put it directly in front of the cave, so maybe Just a little bit to either side. Now we can mix it up a little bit with the prairie grass. Not too much because I didn't actually leave that much space. Okay, flowers. I brought some flowers. Let's not add too many of these because they are pretty bright, but just a handful for a pop of color. And lastly, let's just add some normal grass and some short grass, of course. Okay, I love this. I think it looks like a really great place for capybaras. I really like the focus that we have on the grassy types of plants and just how overgrown everything is with them. That really looks like a savanna with a water hole in the middle, which is exactly where capybaras live in the wild, as far as I know. But before we let the capybaras loose in there, we need to finish the surroundings here. We need to do the path, the green spaces, add lots of plants here, and also on the boulders and on the edges of this platform. And what better way to do this than to jump into a time lapse? Let's go! Okay, so this is a little bit off topic, but when I was editing the replay, I noticed how amazing my wings are looking. Look at that. So I have the new cape from Minecraft's 15th birthday, but instead of just green like the creeper face, it's like all blue and shimmery, and I'm not sure if that's because of the enchantment or because of the shaders, or a mix of both probably. Oh, but it just looks so cool. Except for that silly cow face of the backpack, of course, which I was gonna say ruins the look a little bit, but I think it just adds to it. It adds to the entirety of my Minecraft look. But without further ado, it's time to introduce our capybaras to their new exhibit. And I really hope they're going to like it in here. So I have 4 capybaras, and of them only 1 is female, and I may try breeding them eventually, but for now I think 4 is fine. So let me remove that so they can't get out, and I'm going to release them. Alright. Let's start with you. A beautiful dark brown variant. A more pale colored one. Hi, little guy. A little baby, look at you. That's so adorable. And another pale colored one. Look how it just went over to mommy or daddy, I don't know. Anyway, regarding names, this time I actually have my own name that I want to give one of them, which is Capyboppy, which is the name of a capybara in a book that I used to read as a kid. And I think the little guy here is the perfect candidate to get that name. I just need to push you somewhere. I need to get you... Yeah, here. Perfect. Do you like the little cave that I made you? Isn't it perfect? Alright, now I just need to get out of here. I think rockets are probably my only way because I don't have any ender pearls on me. Ouch. That was a harsher landing than I intended. But look at them. We have our capybaras in there, and I can't wait to see them try out the pool, the little pond, and just watch them live their life down there. So this is it for this episode. I was talking about my future plans to create a breeding facility on that weird platform thing that I made there in the back. I already started building that a little bit, but also we just added the newest update of the ZAWA mod. I already mentioned that we added the Wonders of the World mod, and we did a trim of all the chunks that we already have in this world. so that we will have an easier time finding new animals. And I think that calls for some exploration. So I think that's what I'm going to do in the next episode. And maybe we'll also get to do some other stuff. But I really want to do some exploring and try to find some of those amazing new animals that we have. But anyway, that is for the next episode. As always, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Consider leaving a like if you did, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye bye!